our own little Miss Marvel came and took over the world by storm. Sharing the same name as Carol frickin' Danvers, she's the new MCU sweetheart. But sadly, there's still time for her next appearance. Luckily, we just got a new BTS video to entertain us till her next project. So, in this video, let's go behind the scenes and check out the fascinating CGI process that brought the character to life. To begin with, it's all thanks to Rise Visible Result Studios. Marvel Studios has come a long way since its freshman Iron Man. Starting a booming comics to movie adaptation, it has cemented the superhero movie genre as a serious one. No one can say they're just for comic nerds. Everyone watches superhero movies now, no matter if they like them or not. Obviously, visual effects have made them such a big deal. Previously, there have been superhero movies, but the VFX on them just makes us cringe. Today, Marvel leaves no stones unturned, finding the best studios to make its movies magical. This time, Miss Marvel's VFX have been garnering crazy applause. This one-of-a-kind show is a far cry from the usual grim action scenes. The effects in this show are so lively, kaleidoscopic, and just fun. You can thank the award-winning special effects studio, Rise, for their vibrant imagery. They're no stranger to Marvel with projects like Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, Loki, Endgame, Hawkeye, Eternals, and future Black Panther 2. And that's just the MCU. Aside from it, we've seen the maestros at work in Dark, Stranger Things Season 3, Shazam, Fate of the Furious, and Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore. We could go on and on because its portfolio is pretty extensive. Miss Marvel was Rise London's first big-time MCU show, so the veteran Munich branch came forward to help deliver this masterpiece. The project was headed by Sebastian Lauer at London and Stuart Bullen at Rise Munich. Hear this, a team of 60 3D and 30 2D came together and worked hard on the project from April 2021 to June 2022. They finalized a total of 201 shots in a year. After the final showdown, the studio released our Talk of the Town project reel showing us its masterstrokes. So let's get down to it. Next up, the cosmic CGI of Miss Marvel. If there's one thing the studio has said about creating Kamala's iconic hard light powers, it's that it was hard. According to the VFX work description, figuring out what hard light looks like was a real piece of work. Can you even imagine creating powers that materialize out of nowhere? The studio calls it Side Effects Houdini, aptly named. The way Khan steps on the materialized steps definitely gives us some huge video game vibes. But no matter the challenge, Rise says it's been rewarding, and it looks stunning on screen. The reel shows us all this backed with a sick beat to pump us up, and dare we say, it works. At first, the clip shows the final VFX injected scenes. Then, it transitions to the original BTS, and we see how the effects are layered on it. The VFX supervisor, Stu, shares that they created CG weapons, a CG mosque, high school building extensions, and imaginary parts of New Jersey. What's more, remember that mysterious smoke and smashing glass? Even that was special effects. And then there's the Noor dimension. The scene where its map rises from the ground via mystical sand was one tough cookie. It's so effing similar to futuristic holographic images rising from screens. To create the map, the studio first used a glass box and then CGI'd the map in it. Speaking of glass, it was a super helpful tool to create Kamala's crystalline powers. Obviously, they look see-through, so a hard surface wouldn't have worked, especially when she steps on the hard light. Adding on, Cameron's bluish destructive hard light was all over the place. While stunt work created the blasts, Rise overlapped it with the slithering powers. And how can we forget the embiggen punches? The studio drew a fist over Iman's bangle-clad hands, and then enlarged it to knock people out. All in all, it made us super nostalgic about our comic days, and that, dear friends, was intentional. Following with the heavy comics inspiration. As we said earlier, Miss Marvel was a breath of fresh air compared to other MCU shows. While seeing the familial, friendly neighborhood superhero was satisfying, the visual spectacle stole the show. The series co-director Bilal Fallah shared the struggles to make it like that. He said they badly wanted the show to reflect the comic book aesthetics. The issue was that it wasn't in the script. They came up with it on their own. And getting the stamp of approval from Big Boss Feig, that was nerve-wracking, especially since it hadn't been done in the MCU before. So they presented how they wanted to portray Kamala's utopia and her fantasies with a comic touch. Much to everyone's relief, Kevin agreed, but with a warning not to go too overboard with it. Seeing the show, we can safely say the creators struck just the right balance of comics and reality. It's exactly what attracted so many viewers to the show. What's more, watching the show must have reminded you of Scott Pilgrim and its video game style. That's because the makers got influenced by the Edgar Wright movie and Into the Spider-Verse. Given how Kamala Khan was such a gamer and dreamer, adding the comic style was definitely the right call. And now, Kamala's powers are not the same as comics. You aren't alone if you think her powers were a bit different in the show. In the pages, Miss Marvel was an inhuman, able to extend her body and shapeshift. While the shapeshifting reflects major X-Men/Mystique vibes, the stretchiness is more like Elastigirl. According to what we've heard, the MCU changed Kamala's inhuman powers to mutant Nor-Dimension cosmic bangle ones to avoid similarities, and to add similarities too. Allow us to explain. Marvel has Fantastic Four in the hood. The stretchy powers would be similar to John Krasinski's Reed Richards, so by tweaking her powers, they've made Khan an original. What's more, by what hints we've seen of Monica Rambeau's powers, it looks just like Captain Marvel's powers. Now, we know all Marvels are uniting in the Marvels, so their powers must look related to each other. The CGI luminous ones would truly unite them. Lastly, and most important of all, the elastic powers would look horrible as CGI. Past Fantastic Four movies have shown that, with Reed Richards' silly-looking powers. It doesn't translate well in specific effects at all. As Screen Rant put it, by changing Kamala's powers, Marvel has ensured she doesn't fall into Reed's goofy elastic CGI curse. We're just thankful they included her trademark and Big and Punch. The rest works so well that we can hardly complain. Ready to see Miss Marvel alongside other Marvels? If you're waiting with bated breath for Kamala Khan's next appearance, you just have to wait a year for the Marvels to release. Following the shocking Kamala Carroll replacement post-credit scene, we know Khan will finally meet her idol in the Captain Marvel sequel. Teyana Paris's Monica as Photon or Spectrum would join Iman Vellani and Brie Larson. They'll be facing an unknown villain played by Zawe Ashton. The burning question is, what caused Carol Danvers to take Kamala's place? Well, Shang-Chi's post-credit scene showed us Captain Marvel was investigating the Ten Rings' powers, and the clandestines found Khan's bangle with the Ten Ring symbol engraved nearby, so the ring's power could be related. What's more, the bangle has already shown us its time/interdimensional travel abilities, and the glowing bangle just before the swap is the final nail in the coffin. The movie hits screens on July 28, 2023, so let's see how much of our theory turns true. Up next, let's find out her future role in other Phase 5 movies. After the Marvels, we aren't sure what Miss Marvel's future is gonna be. So far, there's no news on Season 2, but the show's writer Fatima Asghar thinks she could be in the Phase 5 Avengers movies. Asghar says we haven't seen the depth of Kamala's powers yet. A small-town girl so far, she has loads of room to grow and fit into the bigger MCU. While facing the mighty Kang might be too intimidating, she could be the next Spider-Man. In essence, she shares his emotional heart. Despite playing a small role in Infinity War, he won everyone's heart, so Kamala can play a similar role. Of course, seeing her interact with Peter Parker would be a treat. We gotta stay tuned for more on this hopeful friendship. Lastly, Iman Vellani is the perfect Miss Marvel. After seeing Iman as Kamala, everyone was blown by how similar the actor is to her character. She shares the same Captain Marvel and comics obsession. What's more, she fully owns her culture, much like Khan. Recently, Vellani got back at the show's haters and review bombers, saying a Pakistani/Muslim superhero is just too scary for them. But like her wholesome character, she's added it's a love letter to all Marvel's fans, even the bombers. What's more, she recently revealed to Seth Meyers that she has a burner Reddit account. Like Khan's ecstasy due to her superhero status, Vellani loves to go about her inside knowledge. She gets into the fan theories and vaguely tells them, "Oh, you have no idea what's coming." Hilarious. And every day we see more and more that nobody could have played Kamala better than Iman Vellani. That's a wrap. Did the BTS special effects make your jaw drop like ours? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next one.